spring has sprung. We're almost at the end of the school year. Eliza's done an amazing job keeping us up to date on that. Talk to us about some of the goings on in this weekend's Newtown Bee. I guess maybe as it relates, because I have spring fever, or I guess this is just spring, right? Is it no longer spring? Right. I have summer fever, Nancy.
You're getting there. Well, we were just talking about yard work, and what people might want to be excessively careful of this spring, right now, starting now, are the tick infestation. We have a tick research scientist and professor of epidemiology who is working with Donna Culbert, our health district director, about some tick advisories. The season is, ticking up, but apparently it's going to be a bumper crop of ticks this year. And they're carrying not just Lyme, but a number of other potentially very dangerous infections. So when people go outside, our health district director is really urging people to pay attention to the protocols of working outside, long sleeves, long pants. Check yourself within half an hour after you come in for any kinds of ticks. It's just going to be apparently extra ticky out there.
I don't want to alarm anyone, but my first summer in Newtown last year, I got bit 3 times.
Thanks.
3. And these little stinkers will stay on you even after a shower. I would get out of the shower and I said, they're very resourceful at doing what they do, which is finding a host to bite.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is if you have pets that go outside, be sure that you check your pets as they come in. Make sure they're on some sort of tick medication so they don't get sick.
But then you know what happens, Nancy, is that so my dogs are treated.
Right.
The ticks get on them, find it inhospitable, and then they're off. And that's when they end up on me. Yeah, so this is a good article. I'm going to read this with a very close eye.
It is. It's a very informative article and, not meant to really alarm people, but just remind us that, along with the pandemic, all these other things that we've been fighting for so many years continue to exist. And this year, you want to be extra careful.
Yeah. All right. That's a good one. I saw something that caught my eye, and that is that another sign that we're moving in the right direction. Activities are opening in some of the senior centers.
Yes, they are. For a while, they had them on hold, not only for the safety of their seniors, but then for a while, the senior center was used as a vaccination clinic, and they couldn't hold some of the classes that they normally do. But now they are starting to offer, a limited number of people to come actually back to the senior center. They've got wipes, they've got hand sanitizer, they're still being careful and encouraging people to practice safe practices. But they can come in, they can play billiards, they can, engage in some of the exercise routines with the instructor right there. So it really is making everybody at the senior center very happy.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a positive headline for sure. So that's that's online right now and in this weekend's edition of the Bee.
Oh, I don't know if it's online. I'm sorry.
I just saw it. Yep.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I can confirm it is.
We post things at various times. So I was like, I don't know.
It's there. What I wanted to ask you was how are we doing? Early on we were kind of a model of vaccination and efficiency, or how have we slowed down? Where are we at?
Yes, we have slowed down. I think that the last vaccination clinic is this weekend for people who need their first one, and after that, I think the only things people will be getting will be their second vaccinations. It's a good thing. They had a very good response, but like a lot of the country, the challenge now is educating people and encouraging people who have been hesitant to get the vaccination. Young people now 16 and up are eligible to get the vaccination, and that's going to help. And it looks like one of the drug manufacturers may have something safely set to go for kids 12 and up, starting in the next couple of weeks. That would really, really help with the school situation. It will help with people going on vacation. give people a much more sense of freedom. But again, with that freedom, you still have to keep in mind that there is a population that cannot be vaccinated for whatever reason, and they're vulnerable. And while it's extremely unlikely that somebody vaccinated is going to pass on the virus, it's not 100% sure that they can't. So we just need to be very respectful of all the other people around us when we're in public places, and that's what continues. We do still have positive cases popping up in Newtown. Fortunately, no more new deaths. So
That's
we're
good
thankful
news.
for that.
Yeah. What is the latest from the governor from Hartford? I can't remember the last easing of restrictions. Was there a date, or have we've reached it, right?
Well, as of May 1st, some of the restrictions were loosened so far as bars can open up at that and serve inside, and they don't have to serve food with it anymore. There's a couple of minor restrictions that have been lifted, and I think that the governor is looking now towards May 19th when they plan to eliminate just about every restriction, other than suggesting that people wear masks in public places around crowded situations.
I hate to say it, but you know what's coming, boy. People seem to enjoy this debate. So the mask debate, I think, is going to be one that'll get it. That'll last through at least half the summer, in my estimation.
Well, there you go. And then we have some news to report.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, because I know that when I prepare news on WPKN and I have the station on in the background, sometimes when the phone lines are open, it's one of those issues. Hey, I saw something in the Bee that also caught my eye, and that is that as a pet lover, I appreciate when pets go above and beyond. There's a certain service dog that was featured.
There is. We have a couple of really wonderful stories this week about dogs. And one of them, as you mentioned, is Baron, the exceptional sidekick therapy dog. It's kind of it's a really happy story in that Baron has brought a lot of joy to the humans that he's been in contact with. But Baron, unfortunately, was recently diagnosed with an incurable cancer. So he's enjoying his last few months of life, basically being pampered by everybody who has loved him along the way. He's a young dog. Exceptional Sidekick is hoping that people will contact them and see how they can help so far as donations or anything, because now they're down. They're short one therapy dog, and he was about to go to his human and help his human. They're psychiatric therapy dogs. Emotional therapy dogs. Yeah. So they're down one now unexpectedly. But the other dog,
sad but beautiful.
It was, and he's a beautiful dog. The other dog story that we have has a much happier ending. It's a dog who was adopted from the South and just basically leaped out of the car into its new owner's arms. And so it's a pretty happy tale.
I've done that a few times. That could get addicting, Well, what ends up happening is my wife's like, well, that's your dog, so now I want my own. And then my daughter we're running a petting zoo. What else is going on?
Well, I think that, there's a really good explanation. The Charter Revision Commission has clarified their meeting protocols for the work groups. They're meeting in two-person groups, and that's to research and discuss the points that they've been asked to look at. There's been some question as to, is that, freedom of information because they're not open to the public? But the thing is, they're two-person work groups, and they don't have to be open to the public. They're not going to be voting on anything. They're simply researching points and discussing points. It'll all be brought back to the Charter Revision Commission before any action is taken, which will all be done in public. So the public doesn't really have to be concerned that this is avoiding any of the freedom of information. It's really been carefully thought out, and it's just to expedite the research and everything. So, people will want to take a look at that. And that non-lapsing fund issue is still kind of ongoing. It's a very complicated. So
I did see it this morning, and I said, all right, I have 3 minutes before I get on with Nancy. Let me let her explain it to me.
You know, I wish I could in 25 words or less, but it's a competition between the what the Board of Finance has authority to do versus what the Legislative Council has authority to do to appropriate surplus school district budget funds into the non-lapsing account where the Board of Ed can use them for educational purposes. There is some complication between recent state statutes and what our town requires and who can do this. So
who can spend it?
Who can appropriate the surplus funds into the non-lapsing account. The Board of Finance technically is an advisory group. And I guess it's so, you really have to follow the whole thread. So I'm going to tell people, if you go to newtownbee.com and look up these articles that we've written about it, it's going to clarify it much better than I can in just a minute.
Do your due diligence. All right.
Right. So we've got that. We've got, like I said, we've got our happy dog stories and that tick story. I think if you're going to read something in the Bee first this week, read that tick story.
Yeah, that's good advice. And I can speak from personal experience. They are out there. I actually bought these little lanterns these solar lanterns to light up our patio. And I put the boxes down. And I went inside. I came back out to unpack them, and ticks were on the box.
Yeah,
that's how many there are in grass that's any longer than an inch or two.
Yeah, this is exactly what the research scientist was sharing. Is that there are hot spots, where you'll step in and you're going to have ticks.
Yes, absolutely.
So we just be super careful. We've also, I'm going to give a little plug to Terry Rooney of Smart Care Exteriors in Monroe and to Pendergast Garbage Roll-Off and Recycling, who joined together to repair a roof through the intervention of Friends of Newtown Seniors for a couple who just couldn't take care of a horrible, horrible problem with their roof. And they volunteered and did this for this couple. It's a pretty sweet story.
That's nice. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Good note to end on.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, enjoy. I think we're going to get a reprieve from the rain tomorrow, so enjoy your weekend.
Yes, you too.